Hi folks, it's the Hogtie Champ once again, this time with a response to DPR Jones. If you haven't seen his video series on the weasel Peter Popoff, you definitely want to check it out. Links are in the sidebar. Of course, I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. I went from 1 to 48 in the space of a day. My video response, which I titled Expelled, Dispelled, created a lot of interesting discussion, and I got some great positive feedback from many of the YouTube users, many people asking for more videos. I don't know, I'll have to think of a new topic. As it stands right now, I think the only thing that I have to put up for videos is a bunch of photos and video clips of my cats sleeping in strange positions. Trust me, I'll try to think of a better topic for a video, but for now, let's see what DPR Jones wants.
It may also be the case that the site that I have referred to has admitted to include other television regulatory bodies in other countries to which complaints could be made. So I am asking for your help. In whichever country you are, wherever you are in the world, and it doesn't matter whether or not you receive broadcasts from Popoff, I invite you to do one of two things. Firstly, make a short video including the details of any organization in your state or country to whom you think that a complaint could be made.
Sadly, yes, Canadians do have the opportunity to watch broadcasts of Popoff Ministries on Canadian broadcasters. I don't know if it's a separate ministry like Popoff Ministries Canada or something like that, but I do know of this interesting website, recall.ca, for reporting economic crime online. Notice that this is a tool for reporting crime online, not a tool for reporting online crime. So long as you're willing to register as a user on their site, you can report economic crime of any type. Take note, though, of who runs the site. The RCMP is the senior partner in recall.ca, so I suggest you're honest when you file the information. I bet DPR Jones would agree with me, there's no point in anyone making any false statements or hiding your identity from the RCMP. The Mounties have an excellent privacy program too, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm sure that it's worthwhile to check out the recall.ca site and ask them some questions, but to be honest with you, it's really better for people who are victims of fraud. If you bear with me for a moment, I might be able to explain why the CRTC might be a better route. In 2002, the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission held public hearings on religious programming. This fundraising issue was one of many things that they talked about. You should go to the crtc.ca website and find that public hearing notice that you'll see here, CRTC 1993-78. It's certainly an interesting read. I mean, that is, if you enjoy reading public policy documents. For those of you who aren't invigorated by such things, let's skip ahead to the part about fundraising. In the licensing policy section of the document, they listed a number of concerns. Towards the middle of that, they mention others contend that, because of the potential of some religious groups to exploit people, specific safeguards, such as guidelines on ethics and fundraising, should be part of religious broadcast policy. The Commission had the goal to meet the legitimate needs and interests of those who wish to receive various kinds of religious programming without diminishing the integrity and strength of the Canadian broadcasting system. In seeking to achieve this goal, the Commission has taken into consideration the fact that religious broadcasting has the power to provide spiritual comfort. At the same time, the Commission is acutely aware of instances where this power has been abused. In general, they were working to develop a flexible approach to licensing, but it also considers that this flexibility must be accompanied by rigorous guidelines on ethics to assist broadcasters of religious programming and to guard against egregious intolerance and exploitation. Sound familiar? And this is where it gets good. Because of that requirement, they decided, accordingly, the Commission considers that any religious organization or foundation using the Canadian broadcasting system to solicit funds should be a charity, and it should be registered as such with Revenue Canada in accordance with the Income Tax Act. Not all churches are registered as charities in their country. Note, for example, that Kent Hovind's church has never been registered as a charity. I'd be curious to see whether Peter Popoff had. In any case, let's take a look at what the Commission says about how they should solicit funds. The Commission expects all licensees to comply with strict provisions regarding the solicitation of funds. In particular, the Commission expects that the wording and tone of any solicitations for funds shall not place an undue responsibility on them to respond, be alarmist, suggesting the programs be discontinued, or predict divine consequences of not responding, or exaggerate positive results of responding. And of course, you can't intimidate people, but that's obvious. Any reasonable person has to agree that Popoff greatly exaggerates the positive results of responding. But you ever notice he never actually asks for money on the show? Does that matter? Not really. The same guidelines apply when printed material soliciting funds are presented to viewers or listeners. In Canadian law, the but-for test applies. We would have to wonder whether the person would have started sending money and receiving these letters but for the engagement with the TV program. An important thing to remember about policy documents is that they're not actually law. Policy comes into effect when complaints are filed. Here's how you would do that. Visit their website at crtc.ca and go down to the bottom corner. You'll see the National Do Not Call list, very helpful, because fuck, I hate phone solicitors. But I digress. Anyway, DPR Jones, you'll notice this is why I don't argue cases in front of a judge. I tend to digress. And swear. Anyway, right below that is ask a question or make a complaint. You might want to ask a question, or maybe you want to make a complaint. In any case, take note of exactly when and where you had seen the Peter Popoff program. Considering the material I've been showing you, you might want to ask them whether or not Peter Popoff Ministries is a foreign ministry or a Canadian ministry, and whether or not that ministry is registered as a charity. You might also wish to point out the exaggerated promises of health and financial prosperity, and see if that is consistent with CRTC policy. Setting aside the CRTC for a moment, did you happen to notice that Quebec City has a licensee listed? If Popoff's broadcasts are being translated into French and then rebroadcast from inside of the province of Quebec, well, then I have to point out a peculiar thing about Canadian law. I'm wondering if there's anyone out there who was listening to a French language broadcast or a broadcast translated into French, and they were within the province of Quebec when they were viewing the broadcast, and they felt that it was deceptive. If so, please contact me directly and I'll tell you about another office that you can contact to file a complaint about his abuse of the French language. In any case, DPR Jones, what was that second thing that you wanted us to do?
Secondly, please keep ordering from Peter Popoff. See the Peter Popoff challenge to find out how you can do it from anywhere in the world for free.